Business ownership has never been hotter, but how do you do it? That's where I come in. Allow me to guide you on your journey. Welcome to Idan Franchise. This episode sponsored by SEO Samba. Empower your franchise with predictable results and AI-driven marketing. Up next, the Zohan of franchising.
They're not really understanding the part of empathy and really caring about our clients.
Great advice. I always tell people that's why business plans are written in pencil. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Idan Franchising, and I'm your host, Lance Graulich. You know, when disaster strikes, you need a restoration business. I have a guy, he's a founder of a great restoration brand. And let me tell you, he came to the United States with, I think, $1,000. He had an $800 Volvo and started a carpet cleaning business. Wait till you hear all this. Idan Shpizear. Idan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you.
I am so happy to have you. Let's dive in with a hard-hitting question about entrepreneurship, because you are also an influencer. You have so many people following you and are looking at or hearing your story and wanting to know, how did this guy do this? So let's start with one of my, let's see. I have a whole list in front of me of so many questions. We'll see what we get to. Let's talk about mindset. I've always found that people that don't jump into entrepreneurship, but they're talking about it for years, for whatever reason, they're stuck. So what is your advice to people that have already sort of made the decision, but not the commitment to jump into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, it's seriously, get going. When people trying just to get all the answers before they take action, right? So I need to know exactly how it's going to work out, and I need to know when it's going to happen and what's going to happen in a month ago. And the reality is we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow morning, right? We didn't know that COVID will happen. We didn't know that so many things that happened even just in the past 6-7 years, so many things happened that none of us had any idea. At the same time, people are sitting there and trying to, I want to know exactly what's going to happen in a month from today. I want to know exactly. A month ago, I'm talking to a guy, and he talks to me about his business plan, this business idea, and here and there, and he talks about the plan and how it's going to work out. And then I'm stopping it 1 second. I'm telling him, tell me, for how long you've been thinking about it? Like, you really know all the details. Oh, Idan, I put so much thoughts into it. I'm planning it for the past 3 years. And I'm like, past 3 years? This is insane. Did you take any action? Like, what's happening? Oh, no. I'm not going to start until I really understand everything. Now, we wasted 3 years. And the world is changing so fast, we have no idea what's going to happen.
Yes.
So just get going.
Yeah.
Let's get going. Because so many times as we take our first action, we're starting to see how things are unfold. Of course, have your North Star. Like, know where you're aiming, like where I want to go. Right? But as we take action, we figure out, this thing that I thought that's going to work, it's not working. This customer that I thought that he's going to need my product, they have no interest in my product. And we can only discover it once we're out there interacting and listening and talking to our clients. Right? So just get going.
Great advice. I always tell people that's why business plans are written in pencil. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to go the wrong direction. You rewrite the plan. You cross that off the list and say, that didn't work. Let me do something else, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
So 911 restoration, talk about it. What is 911 restoration? You founded this brand a long time ago.
Yeah. So really, I mean, the way we look at ourselves is people that bring fresh start. And the reason that we're leading with a fresh start is because we're working with people that are going through a disaster. Think about it. Mom wakes up in the morning, go downstairs. My house is completely flooded. I need to wake up my kids. I need now to feed them, get them to school and do everything. But everything is upside down. How I'm going to pay for it? What's going to happen? So when I thought about the business through these eyes, I'm like, okay, forget about the restoration part. First of all, we're dealing with human beings. And we want to recognize that they're going through an emotional disaster. And my job is to add value to them. to add value to them in how do I manage the project to help them achieve what they want to achieve. How do I really help them see the positive in the negative? Because when you go through it, it feels like, everything is falling apart, right? So that became our mission. That's why we were leading with the idea of the fresh start, that recognizing, yes, there's a person in front of me is going through a disaster. I want to be the fresh start in his life. I want to represent something, right? So that's what we really do. The service that we offer is water damage, mold, demolition, board up, and on and on. Right, so we're dealing with all areas of the disaster. But who we really are is really a company that is recognizing what people is going through, and it's all about adding value.
So what inspired you to create this brand 20 plus years ago?
Recognizing, as I started as a carpet cleaner, 8 months in or 7 months in, I got a call for the first flooded house. I didn't know anything about water damage, blower, none of it, right?
And you were in the country for how long? You came from Israel, by the way.
Yeah.
And that was how long before?
About a year. So that was in my first year here in business. Yeah, we came in, didn't really know anything, didn't have any money, didn't really speak the language. We had enough money to buy a Volvo for $800. Rented 1-bedroom apartment with 5 other guys.
Sounds like a great business truck.
Right. Those fun times, crazy times, but it was fun time. So somebody was nice enough to train us for 2 days. That's the carpet cleaning machine. We just put it in the back seat in the Volvo. It's 2 doors, so we need to shove it in somehow. It's crazy times. And and that after 2 days, here's the shampoos, here's the thing, that's how you clean a carpet. Now get out there and go make money, right? So we drove around for cleaning houses anywhere between $100 to $500, sometimes bigger project, but that was the average. And then 8 months in, I'm getting a call for a flooded house. So for us, we're just going there to extract the water. I didn't think about any drying, cutting walls, setting up equipment, and on and on. So we extract the water, we charge $600. For us, that was like a day of celebration. We celebrate that day, the end of the day, we went to eat Chinese food. So that was like a huge, big thing for us, right?
Love it.
That was so funny. But as I'm standing there and we're done extracting the water, now I'm speaking with the homeowners, and I recognize that they're stressed. How are we going to deal with everything? Now, I knew nothing about insurance and claim and on and on. I just been there for them. And as I'm seeing the company coming in, they're bringing all their equipment and they're cutting walls and they're making a big mess and they're getting the client to sign this big agreement, and they're just in and out, and they tell him, don't worry, we build your insurance company. But I'm seeing the client and he's worried.
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, that's interesting. And then I did some more research, and then I figure out that they just charge around $15,000 to get that done. I'm like, okay. Thank you for the
I should be doing that business.
Exactly. Thank you for the $600. How do I get the 15? Right? So I recognize the business opportunity, but I also am seeing, what about the customer experience? And then for the next 3-4 months, I saw it again and again and again. Right? And I'm saying, okay, I want to be in that business, but I want to get into this business, but I want to pay attention to the homeowners. I don't want to be the same company that don't really care, because I recognize what they're going through.
Yes.
So then it's where we made the decision, okay, let me start every extra buck that we make, every extra dollar that we make, we start buying our own equipment. So I bought 5 blowers and 10 blowers and 20 blowers, I bought a few DUs. And then I said, okay, the next call that I'm going to get, I'm just going to do everything.
Yeah.
So I took care of the homeowner, right? And that was, I think, on my second project. And that's where I realized, okay, there's something really big here. We got a call not far from here. We just talked about this area, Agora Hills and Calabasas and here and there, right? So we got a call.
For those listeners, Idan is in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we got a call on the weekend. I'm going out there, and I'm standing outside the door, and I'm hearing the parents fighting and the screaming and what's he going to do and who fault it is. I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk into this house, breathe, just walk in, and let's try to really help them go through this. So I walked in, really dealt with them, listened to them. Everybody just came down. I guess I just gave good listening habits. And Went through the project at the end, like, thank you very much, hugs and here and there, and it's all was great. Now, 5 days after, I'm getting a call from the husband, from the homeowner. Like, hey, Idan, how are you? What's going on? Yeah, I'm great. How are you? How can I help you? It's like, Idan, I'm calling you because I'm having a hard day. And you brought up so much calmness into our house. I just wanted to hear your voice.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. There is something there.
yeah.
I can seriously bring this fresh start to people when they're going through. It's not just saying it because it sounds good. It actually works. So I did it again and again and says, okay, so that's the real value that we can bring to people.
So Idan, you build this model. You know it works when you add the secret ingredient of amazing customer service and caring and all of that.
Yeah.
So where did franchising come from?
So we figure out another thing is how to generate leads from online, lead generation. That was 2003, right? So we grew the business really, really fast. I grew from $250 to $3 million in about a year and a half, pretty fast.
$250,000 in revenue to $3 million when you obviously weren't, this was your model you were building, to $3 million, obviously because you learned how to do lead generation. Amazing.
Lead generation and customer experience and learn how to deal with management companies and on and on. My only goal when I met with somebody is like, how can I add value to you? I'm not pitching my company. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Let me just try to figure out what is it that you want to achieve and how can I help you achieve it?
Yes.
Right?
I love
Zero selling. I don't need to sell. It's just because I believe in my services. So there's no selling. So anyway, so we built a company to that side, and then Katrina happened at the end of 2005. So I went out to Katrina. I'm like, okay, I want to have experience in these large losses and what's going on out there. And at that point, we have trucks and equipments and on and on. So we sent a few trucks out there. I flew there a few days after. Devastation. Seriously, it's like everything was upside down. But the thing that happened, because we had so much work and there's so many other restoration contractors that came in, we got to talk to each other because we're not competing. There's so much work for everybody. And then at night, there's one area that we park a lot of the RVs where we're staying in. So we really got to speak to each other. Mm-hmm. And what I learned is that many of these great guys, they've been in business for 5, 10, 15 years. They're averaging around 6, 7, 800,000, $1 million in revenue. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm brand new in this country. I'm learning the language as we go. It's not like I have business experience because I don't. I'm learning it as I'm building things. Why they are stuck at $6, 7, $800,000? And then what I notice is that when I speak with them, most of the time they will talk about the trade itself. So they will talk to me about the blowers and the dehumidifiers and how they cut the walls and how they set up the van. And in my head, like, okay, that's great. It's important. But what about strategy, sales, customer experience? What about scaling the business? Because that's kind of was my thought process. And then I start asking them, I said, listen, I know how to generate leads. What if we create some type of agreement? When you go back to your town and I'm going back to LA, maybe we can create something that will do 1 + 1 = 5. So I spoke with one guy and another guy, and then when we went back to LA, I says, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, right? So I asked my lawyer, can you just write up like a license agreement, something simple, 2 pages, I can send it to them, we both sign, that's how it's going to work. So I did the first one, worked. Second one, worked. Fifth one, working well. 10. Wow, okay, I have now 10 license agreement out there. I just thought I'm just going to continue with the license agreement. And then the lawyer that wrote the license agreement for me is like, Idan, you're becoming a franchise. I'm like, what do you mean a franchise? What's the difference between that to a franchise?
Like McDonald's without the French fries.
Exactly right. So then I went through, okay, so I guess franchise it is because I see that we can add value. I see that we can do 1 + 1 = 5. Yes. Everybody is growing. It's working for everybody. So that's really how we became a franchise. I just love the idea that how can we bring great people together and we're all pushing the same idea of the fresh start, right? I have this thing that I have a strong belief that a business needs to add value.
Yeah.
I think a business it's more of a mission, right? Because we are impacting the communities, impacting our teams, employees, like everybody that is around us business. So I said, if we can push the idea of the fresh start through many people now, Is that going to be a positive things that we do here in the world, right?
Yeah.
So that's become a mission, and this is how we become a franchise.
That's amazing. Talk a little bit more about the get out of the truck, call it initiative.
Yeah.
You know,
So
because the number one thing that I've noticed is exactly what you brought up. The typical mom and pop independent business gets very much stuck where it's too daunting to add the other truck, the extra employees, and they're okay doing the 600,000, 800,000 in revenue, and they never get to 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. Talk a little bit about that.
yeah, so exactly the same. So when I talk to the people, when I talk to people that get into the business, everybody have the dream when they start the business to be above 1 million, right? I want to build a business. I want to get to that size. So everybody have that dream in them. It's just one point that they're giving up on their dream, right? And what I realized that as you start a business, you're doing everything, right? So I'm the secretary, I'm the estimator, I'm business development, I'm here and there. And they're just getting lost in just doing everything. And they forget that this is, if you step out for a second, you're building a system, but you need to start thinking about it as a system from day one in a way, right? To start saying, okay, I see that I spend X amount of hours on business development. I see that I'm spending X amount of efforts and time on admin and on in the business. And start understanding that you actually starting designing a system, right? You put $1 in and $10 is supposed to come out from the other side. So look at it more as a system. And what happened very often that you just get lost in doing everything and they forget that they're building a system. And they forget that there is a certain strength and weaknesses to them, right? So for example, here is a great story. That's like 2 weeks ago, right? I'm speaking with one of my franchisees, right? And he's doing a lot of the admin work because he figured out that he can save hundreds of dollars of every Xactimate that they create, right? So let's say if you take it for the whole month, he saves or make an extra $1,500 or $2,000, right? So for the year it's $24,000. So he will sit in his office because now his confidence and his importance in the business builds in his own mind around doing these things on Xactimate and creating an extra $24,000. And I sit and I talk to them and I was like, okay, but tell me, what did you do before that in your life? Oh, Idan, I was always out there meeting people. I'm great at it. Every time that I'm going to go and meet with people, they're going to want to do business with me. And you recognize he's a great guy. So listen, if I'm clearing out your business right now and you can do whatever you want in the business, what is it that you would do? Oh, Idan, I'm going to get out there and build relationship because I can grow my business really fast. And I'm like, okay, can you stop here for a second? Just listen to yourself. Most people because we're so lost in the day, we're not thinking through things. We're not aware. We're just lost in our own stream of thoughts. So he thought about it, says, listen, so let's play a game now. Let's say I'm going to come into your office. I'm going to do the admin work and I'm going to save this $2,000 and you're going to get out there. How much money you think you're going to be able to bring to the business? Oh, Idan, probably, $300,000 to $500,000 the first year. This is, listen, you're sitting now in your office. You're doing something that will bring $2,000 value to the business on a monthly basis that will end up being $24,000. But you're not getting out there to do the things that you love that will bring to the business $500,000.
Yeah.
Help me understand it. Not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. It's crazy. And
what happened a week after?
It's like the crazy expression, you step over quarters to pick up dimes.
Yeah.
You're just missing it. So talk a little bit about the process to getting into 911 restoration. I myself am a franchise broker. If I bring somebody to you that's interested in being a franchise owner, what is that process like with 911 restoration? How do you know you're getting the best people? I'm sure you say no to people that aren't a good fit.
Yeah. We say no to more people than we say yes, because there's many people that look, the restoration business is a great business, really. It's really, there's a part of it is the service, there's a part of it is a rental, right? Because we use equipment, we're getting paid on a daily basis, blowers, dehumidifiers. Look, there's a piece of equipment that we can buy for $150 to $200 and we're getting paid $25, $30 a day. Think about 5 days, equipment is paid in full, right? When I build my company, I just want all of my equipment to be out. because I know when equipment is working, business is going, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great business to be in.
Yeah.
First of all, we want to make sure that we have people that are thinking long term, right? There's a lot of people coming into business. I want to make money right now. It doesn't make any sense, right? The people it's only about right now. There's no long-term thinking. They're not really understanding the part of empathy and really caring about our clients, right? So first phone call is really us trying to figure out, why do you want to buy a franchise? Why do you want to get into the restoration? We want to hear that really the reasoning is there, that he thought about it, that he understands it. And we don't really look at the franchise sales process as a sale. We look at it more of an education process. Because look, once somebody coming in, we're now together for 7 years, 14, and hopefully more, right? And we sell exclusive territories. So we're not doing, there's many other systems out there that will sell licenses, right? So for example, they will take a city and sell 20 licenses and just everybody compete with everybody and the strong one wins. I don't believe in it because I have a big emphasis on customer experience. So I don't want my franchisees to compete. So I want to give them their own area so they feel, they know that this is their area.
Yeah.
They need to make sure the customers are happy. I want to make sure that they're the fresh start agent for us, right? They're part of the brand, they're representing the brand, because that is a long-term success. So first phone call, we want to understand why really do you want to do it? Second phone call, we're taking you through a presentation. We're showing you everything about the business and how it's going to work and what to expect. And then we have a meet the team day where they're going to meet our marketing director, our support team, the business development.
Are you doing that in person in LA, or are we doing that through Zoom?
So we used to do it in person. Now people prefer to do it just online, easier. Don't need to fly. We have more of the education process. It's not the process of, I want to fly you in and I want to close you right now and sign the franchise agreement. I don't do it. For us, the size that we are here, that we are in, and we have a lot of growth ahead of us, it's really finding the right people. Because we see bringing the wrong franchisees in when it's not really the business for them and they don't want to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning to go to a job, they're not going to do good. I don't need it. They don't need it. Just go find a job. You'll do better.
So in this process, do prospective franchisees have an opportunity to speak to existing successful franchisees?
Yes, we want them to speak to our existing franchisees. We will even tell them, like, look, here is a franchisee that is super successful. Here's the one that is doing good. Here is the one that is not doing very good. But I want you to see the difference when you talk to them, because when you join us, I want you to be the one that do very good. And I know that this is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So I'm not hiding it. Yes, we have a small percentage of franchisees that, came in, but this is not the right business for them. So we're helping them exit the business, right? It's very hard. It's very hard to know if you are really the right, even though we're doing everything that we're doing. Many times we have franchisee that we feel like this guy is going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
And it's not really happening. And we have another guy that will come in like, you know what, we're probably going to need to give him a lot of help. But then this guy is just killing it.
Yeah.
Right. So
to that end, if you thought about your top 5 franchisees, what do they all have in common? And what did they do before joining 911 Restoration?
Mindset. It's always, for me, goes to mindset. This is how we start the conversation. The one that do very well have the mindset of, I understand, here is the system. I understand the support that you're giving us as a franchisee. I'm going to collaborate. I'm going to work with the team, and I'm going to make things happen. They're getting out there. They're building relationship. They have this charisma. Their team want to be part of their team, right? Yeah. They're getting people to follow, and they're getting out there and they're taking action, right? And so it's not that we have a specific past experience. It's not like I can say people that came from the restoration industry will do very well. Not really. We have people that came into the franchise that have no experience, but had the mindset, and have people that have a good business development muscle, that don't scare to get out there, build relationships, shake hands. Usually these guys will do very, very well.
Yeah. It's interesting because we would rather have people with no experience and no bad mistakes, no bad habits, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's, you're right. Because if somebody's been in the business for 10 years and he's been averaging $300,000 in revenue for 10 years,
Yeah.
it's going to be very hard now to teach him new tricks.
Talk about the marketing. I know you have a lead generation background,
Yeah.
and obviously that is an incredible plus. When you talk about value, anybody that's smart looking at any franchise, what are you going to do for me is the question they're going to ask, right? And when you can provide lead generation that's solid, I know a couple of companies right now, their franchisees are not happy with lead generation. They're not happy that some of the lead sources have dried up. So talk about what you do for franchisees.
Yeah. The past year in general was very challenging year. A lot of things change really, really fast. But just like as a side note, so we look at it as three different silos. So we have online lead generation, right? Websites, SEO, landing pages, tracking, PPC, PPL, and on and on. That's something that we manage and we support our franchisees with. Right, so when a franchisee come in, we build a website for him, unique content, unique images. We create about 150 different listings for him. We customize as many things as we can to really bring the franchisee out, so people see it's local guys, part of a local guy or girl, right? We have some great girls in our system that do very, very well. So it's not only like a male business.
Ladies are always better business owners anyway.
Oh,
Sorry, I said it.
They really get the sensitivity part, and they great in getting out there and building relationship, really, and building great teams around them. I'm a big supporter. So when when somebody join in website customization, listings, and on, and we're working now on a very unique approach to PPL, so pay per lead, right? So the competition out there is crazy. So people are bidding way over what needs to be bid to get a water damage lead. So we want to make sure that we're not putting our franchisees in a risk of paying too much for leads. So we are creating a very unique pay per lead type of program for our franchisees, and we're collaborating with other franchisees out there. So that's one silo, right? So online lead generation. The second part is the local business development. We have people as part of our support team that been in the business for 20 plus years, that their entire career was around national account and business development. And they train our franchisees, train their people. If we need to help them hire, we'll help them hire. And we really work with their team. So we have a monthly meeting with all the business development people in the company, really working with them, training them, creating the marketing material that they need to be successful. So that's the second silo. So lead generation online, local business development is the second one, and the third one is national accounts. So we have our own, national salespeople that are out there all the time and creating national relationship. So we will go to a company, let's say like Simon Malls or any other big company, will put together a national agreement, and then we'll connect our local franchisees with the local people that oversee the real estate for the large organization, right? So we're basically putting agreement in place. Sometime we'll put price list, so we have an agreement on pricing as well. And then now through the business development, we're connecting our franchisees with those accounts. So that's really the umbrella of helping them grow the business.
So talk about now, what is the investment, the typical investment that somebody's making in 911 restoration? And for those playing at home, the franchise disclosure document that any franchise brand is going to provide to you and disclose to you, the item 19 is the earnings claim. So talk about the investment and what is that earnings claim? We already know that, you were able to get your business in the old days up to 3 million. So talk a little bit about the numbers.
Yeah. So overall investment is about 150K, right? Depends if you want to run the business or you want to hire a manager, or how you're going to start with the business development, about 150 to 200K. Now, we have a lot of great SBA programs, right? So we have people that come into the business with $40,000 cash and everything else is being financed, right? So we have vendors so we can help with finance with equipment. We have great relationship with SBA, and we have all that in place. So you don't have to come with cash to really to open a business. Earning, look, as we build the business to $3 million without knowing anything that we know today,
Yeah.
Right. And that was then us coming to the country, trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Look, we have franchisees that are reaching, I mean, in the home service business, to pass the $1 million in the first 2 years should not be a hard thing to do.
Yes.
Right. So paying back your investment pretty fast. I mean, we have guys that do north of $6-7 million a year in our system, and they're growing pretty fast. And we have everything in between. Right.
Yeah.
So the potential is, I mean, the home service space, and specifically the restoration space, is a great business to build, because you actually meet with people. I know today when I speak with a young generation and I want to be an influencer and I'm going to build a business on Instagram and thing. I says it's all great, but it's not as sexy, but it's something that called home service, and there's plumbing and roofing and restoration. And there's a lot of technology that come in, and you can leverage your social media abilities. But this is real good businesses, and I'm seeing people coming in and making $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year as profit and taking it home.
Amazing.
Right? They're killing it.
Yeah. It is the boring and unsexy businesses that everybody needs to know about, and 911 restoration fits. You guys, you've been incredibly inspiring listening to these stories as well. Final thoughts, final words of wisdom for the audience.
Yeah, so as we started for small business, I mean, I'm seeing it all day long. People are waiting too long before they're taking an action. So that's one. Just get out there. The second part, there's people that just taking action and going like crazy, like a chicken with no head. Yeah. Right? And what I'm saying to a lot of the businesses that I work with and my franchisees, bring awareness, be aware, right, of what you do, the way you think, what works for you. Take this moment of reflection, because otherwise you're just going to get stuck in this ongoing movement without realizing what works or doesn't. Yeah. Right? And whatever you find that works, just double down on it.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Idan, you've been amazing. The Zohan of franchising. Thank you for being here. Have you been called that yet?
No, first time.
There you go. Well, you've been amazing, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you very much.
If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.